All right. I've already finished Edgedancer, and let's talk about it. I loved this. Absolutely loved every second of this. It had action, it had comedy, it had unexpected twists and turns, had some horror elements to it. This was awesome. And knocked it out in like a day. I mean, granted, it's only this big, where Stormlight is like this. So this was a very nice kind of little thing in between the tomes that is the Stormlight Archive. But some things. Oh my god. So Wendell, my favorite Spren, he called Nin a Skybreaker, which is a type of Radiant, but Nin is a Herald, and he had 2 apprentices that were Skybreakers. So I was a little unclear as to if he was also a Skybreaker, or if he was like the Herald whose knights were Skybreakers. Because from what I understand, there's like 10 heralds, there's 10 orders of Knights Radiant. And so Nin's order of Knights Radiant are the Skybreakers? Is that how that works? I don't know. Well, so he was that, and his whole thing for like forever has been killing Radiants every chance he gets, because if men bond with Spren, then the Voidbringers can world hop, which would be the worst. And I'm assuming Voidbringers are very directly tied to Odium. That's my guess. But anyway, all this is happening, and Lift goes to this orphanage, and she sees this old man who's talking about, like, philosophy and stuff, and I've got Hoid PTSD that every time I see an old man who's talking about philosophy, I'm like, is that you, pal? No, it is not, because that old man is basically the mummy from The Mummy, because he's made of kremlings in, like, his eye, and he, like, shifts and shit. It reminded me of the scene in the first Mummy movie where he's still kind of gross and the scarabs are going like in and out of orifices before he like meshes into the person. Very much felt like that, but we'll get there. So also, Lift mentioned that like her mom got sick, and I guess her mom died. That's really sad. That is really sad. And then got to see Zeth. Zeth saw Lift and had a conversation with her, and the second that he saw her, he just like unsheathed or just like unlashed Nightblood, and then Lift like got really nauseous and sick the same way that like Vivenna did, and then he was like and just walked away. I was like, yeah, she passed the test. And he said the sword likes you, so he was straight up testing to see if she was a good person, and she was, so he didn't kill her. And then he was like, hey, they're going on a mission tonight and they're totally gonna kill somebody. And Lift is like, oh shit, it's gotta be the old man. So she rushes to get to the old man, and the old man goes all mummy on her, but the old man killed the 2 Skybreakers, which was interesting. And the stump is also a Radiant. So it's like, how do they decide who gets to be a Radiant and who doesn't? And is there like a limit? Can you have unlimited amounts? Because there were 200 shard bearers, which I'm really bad at math. I think means there were 20 knights per order. So that was pretty wild. But anyway, so that happened. He let her go. The mummy guy, his name is Arklo, and he's a sleepless. What is sleepless? Like, is that another order of something that's like different than you got like the heralds, you got the Knights Radiant, and then you have other orders like the sleepless, or like the mercenaries, whatever Graves and Moash are doing. But then you also got the Ghost Bloods. Oh god, it's adding up. So all of that happens. Stump is a Radiant. She's been healing these kids, which is really cool. I like that. And then Lift is like, we gotta fight him. Let's do it. And then Stump shows up and like hits Nin in the face with a wooden like piece of wood. It's just like, don't touch my kids. That was pretty cool. But then he's like, please, knocks her out, throws her, stabs her, and is like, you gonna help her or not? And Lift is way too smart for that. I love it. I love it. So they go to the roof. She gets him to go to the top. And Wendell turns into a shard blade, but he's like a rod, like a metal rod, which sounds an awful lot like a dueling cane to me. I loved that. And I loved that when Nin was about to like cut her down and Wendell saves her life and he gets hit, he just says, ow. That Wendell is the best. Loved that. I love that she's basically just like a mini girl version of Wayne. Like, even the vulgar humor that she has is just delightful. But then she's like, hey, your whole thing is you're killing Radiance to stop the Everstorm from coming? Take a look, dude. It's already here. And he actually is like, oh shit, you're right. Falls to his knees, starts crying, and then she's like, oh boy. And she goes over and she hugs him. Never would have seen that coming. That was great. And then he's like, shit, I gotta go. And just like blast it off. Crazy. That was nuts. Like, where's he going? What's he doing now? Because, like, you've been pretty non-remorseful up to this point. And now you're like, shit, I was wrong. Also, an interesting parallel that he went through that moment of having to basically realize that everything he thought about his current existence was wrong or too late. And Zeth also went through a similar thing recently, finding out that he wasn't truthless. Huh. I'm just putting that together now. And then it kind of cuts to this sort of epilogue-y last chapter. And the Lift turns Wendell into a fork and is eating pancakes with it. A shard fork. Delightful. Delightful. That's so good. And she's like, well, I got to go back to Aesir because I think it's kind of important. This book was awesome. I loved it so much. It might be my favorite of the like standalone novels or novella. Actually, I think it definitely is. As I'm like kind of sitting in it, like maybe in a day or two, I'll be more confident in saying that out loud because I just finished it. I think this might be my favorite standalone novel / novella. This was delightful. I enjoyed this very much. Yeah. And it was short. That's why we got like 1 or 2 videos, and then now we're at the full review. But I love this. I hope there's more Lift in the future. She's fantastic. I'm interested to see how, if there are other Edgedancers, how they do things and kind of build it out. Because the Everstorm, I mean, it's here. We're in the shit now. Yeah, this was great. I absolutely loved it. And now, whew, I'm going right into Oathbringer. Let's do this shit.